The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan, 87.9.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugo, todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan.
And there was another drive-by
The
shooting
fire we
today
reported at
downtown.
Newark Fire Hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
A grace-filled Tuesday, dear friends. This is Campus Ministers on Air, the radio program of the Loyola School's Office of Campus Ministry, where we try to find God in anything and everything under the sun. Ako po si Rofem Prion, your Campus Minister host today. Let us begin with this prayer.
All that I am sings of a God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my Lord. All that I am sings of the God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my Lord.
My soul gives glory to the Lord, rejoicing in my saving
Who
God.
looks upon me in my state, and all the world will call me blessed.
For God works marvels in my sight,
And holy, holy is God's name. All that I am sings of the God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my Lord.
God's mercy is from age to age on those who follow in fear.
Whose arm is
Today, we have with us the innkeepers of Casa San Pablo, a bed and breakfast resort in San Pablo City, Laguna. Anne and Boots Alcantara run the place as their own home and make guests feel the same way. Boots is an entrepreneur, and he and Anne, who is a writer, editor, and pottery artist, hold Casa San Pablo close to their hearts. Today, they will share with us their Casa San Pablo story.
So, paano ba nagsimula yung Casa San Pablo?
Nagsimula yung Casa San Pablo noong 1997. Bagong kasal kami ni Boots. And nagbibiyahe pa kami noon. And sa pagbibiyahe namin, we found ourselves liking to stay in B&Bs. Mga bed and breakfast. Mas nag-enjoy kami sa ganun kesa sa yung mga typical hotel. What we liked about it is the idea that there is an innkeeper that welcomes you to their home and to their hometown. And nakikita namin, very sincere, very warm, very authentic yung ano. Eh si Boots, dahil taga San Pablo, dahil malalim ang kanyang roots sa kanyang hometown, sabi niya, bakit hindi tayo gumawa ng ganito para sa San Pablo? So, yun na nagsimula yung idea na pwede tayong mag-B&B. Yun.
Yeah, and at the same time, ang maganda ring aspect when we saw yung B&B was pag mornings and we'd have a breakfast, it's usually like in a big dining table. Kasi nga, B&B is usually a house, and then the owners would then serve, or they have like students who would serve for breakfast, kasi usually mga part-time, usually in sa mga university villages. And nandun yung isang one big dining table. You get to meet the other guests in the big table. No? Where are you from? Ganyan. Di syempre, kami lagi yung naiba kasi we're from a different country. Usually turista nasa hotel, pero kami. So they also found us interesting na foreigner na nasa B&B. So, kasi this was just like 1990s pa when we would travel.
Wala pang Airbnb noon.
Wala pang Airbnb.
So, yung idea ng welcoming to the
so like
home.
sa America,
Bed and breakfast pa lang.
Talagang bed and breakfast.
Kasi may time nag-aral si Anong sa States. So, pag nung binisita ko siya, doon ako nag-stay. So, iba na talaga yung dating na sa B&B. Tapos usually, malapit na siya in the area. No? Walking distance na, you don't have to take any taxi or anything. So, just walk around. No? And then, we had a chance naman to travel sa Europe. Ganon din yung ginawa namin sa mga B&B. So, doon na siya nag-grow na parang when we got back, the memories were all filled with memories sa B&B more than the sites that we saw.
Yes, that's true.
So sabi ko, maganda yung experience na yun kasi parang it's yung talagang para kang nagbakasyon and then nakakilala ka ng tao. Ang focus was the experiences in meeting people and in enjoying the place more than just seeing the sights, no, and going to the typical tourist spots or shopping. So I think that was ang maganda naman doon is we share the same we celebrate on the same joys na experience namin. So yun naman ang malaking bagay din sa pagsasama namin ni Anne, which I think we are blessed, no, that pareho kami ng hilig and pareho kami ng pagtitingin sa mga bagay at pagbibigay importansya sa mga sa mga things that we experience. So I think that's really a gift.
I think tama yun na kasi Boots and I like to celebrate the simple things. Even the way we put casa together, it's just putting like makikita nyo, it's just a bottle with fresh flowers na nilagay lang dyan. Casual, hindi masyadong kinakareer. Pero relax. Kasi relax ang gusto namin and sincere. And I think ang isa pang bahagi nun is that yung pamilya ni Boots, dahil talagang taga San Pablo sila, talagang maraming bisitang pupunta sa bahay nila. Ever since, pati yung mga taga San Pablo na may bisita, dadalhin din sa kanila. And panahon pa yun ng lola niya, panahon ng mami niya, mga kapatid ng mami niya, ganun lahat. So, in a way, sanay na sanay sila na may bisita.
Receive people.
So, natural kay Boots. Although, for me, I come from a very different background. Mas introvert ako, at saka hindi masyadong mahilig magbisita yung family namin. Pero somehow, because I like to do the back room and I like to do the little preparations behind the scenes. Tapos si Boots naman yung mahilig makipag-usap sa tao. It worked out. Malaking aspeto kasi talaga ng running a bed and breakfast is wanting to meet people and talking to people.
But you had just been married for 3 years then, di ba?
Yes.
So paano? Wasn't
5
that...
years.
5 years na ba kayong
Yeah.
kasal noon? Yata 1992, no? So, 1997.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a big risk? I mean, what made you decide to take that risk? I mean, you both had jobs, di ba? Meron naman kayong trabaho. You did not
Precisely.
really need a new...
At that time, it was not a big risk kasi we both had jobs. It was a weekend thing. It was something nice to do. And sigurista nga si Boots. So, the most expensive thing that we did then was to build rooms. Because all the rest was really something that existed already in their family compound. When we built the room, sigurista si Boots na binantayan niya that we will only spend what we can afford. But also, sigurista siya that if the business doesn't succeed, edi gagawin naming bahay.
So it's something that's already parang planned. The worst scenario is still be a house, and since logical naman na taga San Pablo ko na napunta kami ng weekend, so logical din na may bahay kami dito. So it's not really a risk, no, in that sense. And sa amin naman, it's also building it slowly, no. I mean, even when we started the first 6 rooms, walang kitchen. It was just really the rooms. And then when we started receiving guests, which are just on a pre-booked basis, hindi naman yun pwede mag-walk-in. So we're able to prepare the food. So we would cook in Manila and then bring it here. During those few months that we ran it. A few months after, then we built a kitchen already. And knew already the capacity and did some adjustments in terms of like, yung dining room dapat ganito, ganyan. So parang may feedback na in terms of yung response ng prospective clients. Para mas tama yung design and mas kikita siya in that sense.
How big was the operation then? Like, how many employees did you have in the beginning?
Simple nga. Kasi ang malaking bagay nga, it's on-call. No? So, if it's on-call, yung fixed operational expense mo, hindi rin. May tao ka lang pag may guest. So, wala kang mat na lugi. Diba? Kasi nga, call-in lang sila eh. Ang trade-off naman sa kanila, kasi syempre kung mga tauhan naman dati sa bahay, no? So, yung monthly na was low. Pero pag convert namin into per day siya, syempre, it's higher than dun sa monthly. Pero let's say, if they work 10 days in a month, it's already equivalent to sa monthly nila ng parang, so win-win yun. Kasi, there are 4 weekends in a month. So, syempre, meron ka pang preparation. So, they are booked like 3 to 4 days in a week. So, lagay mo na sa 3 times 2. May 12 days ka na agad. Sobra doon sa 10 days. Diba? So, win na sila doon sa Hindi pa sila araw-araw napasok. Kami naman, hindi naman din kami magre-risk kung walang tao. Kalimitan mga weekends may tao. So, malaking bagay na yun. So, walang math na lugi when we were starting.
So kailan kayo nagsimula? Anong year kayo nagsimula na talagang full-blown? Like, you would have guests. Now, you were ready for guests every day of the month. Hindi yung weekend na lang.
Nagkakaroon na rin kasi that's basically a strategy ng binago na namin na nakita namin that the main thrust basically would be corporate. Kasi pag corporate siya, it's not seasonal na pag summer lang. And then weekdays may tao. No, ang profile is weekdays, you have corporate, then weekends, you have families. Hindi rin naman nagwi-weekend yung corporate kasi overtime pay pag doon nila ginawa yung activity. So, puno ng weekday for corporate, then okay rin yung weekend mo gawa ng families. And then hindi nga seasonal. So, kahit rainy season, may tao sa weekday. So, that was the time. And magkakaroon ka lang ng corporate, nagkaroon ng corporate, nung meron na mga conference rooms. Di ba? So, so we had the rooms, and then we had the kitchen, and then the conference rooms na yung next na tinayo. Para nga to make sure na makabook ng mga ganong guests. No? Now, the size of the conference rooms, sumabay na yun sa expansion of rooms. Kasi kung ba, let's say, starting namin was 6 rooms for 30 packs. Ang madami kaming increase was more on the 50 packs. So, we had to expand for 50. And then, may room ka dapat for 50, conference rooms for 50. So, yun na yung next investment. Yung moving of a conference facility. Siyempre, may kitchen na. And then, add rooms to yung 6, naging 12 agad. Yun yung movement. Naging 12 rooms para actually ginawa naming 60 packs. Pasobra pa. Then, 50 packs na conference. And then, syempre, nung ganyan na, people were inquiring na for 100. Ganun na yun. Oh, so, tuloy-tuloy. So, that's the time na pinaikot na namin ng ganun. And then, added facilities. After so many years, itong mga 2012, napupuno na nga ng corporate, napupuno na nga ng weekend. But we still had to expand the revenue. Pero parang kumba, on those areas, hindi na siya, parang medyo hirap na siya i-expand. No? So, kaya we started the wedding. So, it's a new income revenue stream, no? Na complemented naman dun sa lugar. No? Since then, may church naman din na malapit na dating nakakabit din sa compound kasi donate ni Lola yung lupa. So, it's a lot easier also to come up with parang what we call worry-free wedding where you arrange everything hanggang paglabas yung license, hanggang food, ceremony, kami nag-ayos ng bulaklak, whatever. So, kaya we call it worry-free. So, we made those kinds of packages. And parang nakita kasi namin the number 1 venue is Tagaytay. Malapit rin naman ng San Pablo if you talk about kilometer reading. So parang why not here in San Pablo? One of the things that I also want to add, even the fact that we named it Casa San Pablo, no? Because our vision when we started was really to make San Pablo known. Kasi kung gusto talaga namin ni Ann, Casa Boots siya o Casa Boots and Ann, di ba? But since our vision initially, even when nag-start kami ng 6 rooms, is to make San Pablo known. Kaya naging Casa San Pablo.
When it started expanding in a bit, nagsimula ka naman nung storyteller dolls mo.
Mm-hmm.
So, paano yun? Did it have anything to do with Casa San Pablo? If there were no Casa San Pablo, would you have begun it? Anong integral ba yun sa Casa San Pablo? Sa
Yes.
O paano? Paano siya integral?
Una-una nahilig ako sa clay. Because I was playing with my son who was 5 years old then, and he liked making little people. So I knew I wanted to work with clay but not functional ware, mga little people, because they're triggers to storytelling. From the beginning, that was what moved me about it. At the same time, Boots and I were looking for different reasons to make people come to San Pablo. We had to make us a destination on our own. Yung ibang B&B kasi, they are there because the city itself is already a place where people want to go and you're just looking for a place to stay. At that time, 20 years ago, hindi naman talaga, walang masyadong reason. We needed a more compelling reason for people to come to San Pablo. And we thought, maybe if we have a craft. So, intrinsic talaga sa Casa San Pablo, ang clay storyteller. Kaya, ang buong pangalan niya is Casa San Pablo Clay Storytellers. Because gusto namin, unang-una, I wanted to mainly make figures of people from San Pablo eh. Yun yung first motivation to capture San Pablo hometown life through little clay figures. But of course, it took a life of its own already beyond Casa San Pablo. So, ngayon nga, um, itong pandemic, masakit dahil sinaran ko na yung operations ng clay
Kasi
storyteller.
yung katulong gumagawa, taga saan nga sila, Ann?
May community ako of women na tinuruan ko sa Balara. Ang idea talaga, meron akong community of women dito sa San Pablo. And meron naman akong mga youth group na tinuruan. Pero para mas constant, I had to work with identity missionaries, and ang kanilang community or mission place was in Balara. So, sinara ko na yun. Itong panahon ng pandemic, I think while it hurts, it has also forced us or given us the opportunity, the blessing, the gift to re-examine why we do what we do. And so, as far as the clay storytellers are concerned, bumalik ako ngayon dun sa ano pang purposiya ko, bakit ako pumunta ng clay storytellers. And it's really to tell stories of San Pablo. So if I come back to, or when I come back to making clay, babalikan ko yun. Na dun sa core mission talaga namin, which is to talk about our hometown. Yun talaga yung core mission namin. And nagsimula yun dito sa Casa. And I mean, it has taken na ako, gumagawa ako ng clay storyteller. Umabot din yun na naging na akong presidente ng Tourism Council dito sa San Pablo. Kasi kita talaga namin na mission namin to talk about our hometown. Kung kami lang kumakayod dito, kailangan ma-involve na rin kami sa community, sa government, sa pag-organize ng iba-iba pang tourism sites. So we have a really strong story to tell about San Pablo.
Kasi ang dami nang nangyayari, di ba? Hindi lang Casa San Pablo, kahit sa Sampaloc Lake, naayos na yung paligid noon. And you were part of that, di ba?
Yes.
Di ba nag-cleaning
Sa
drive pa
plaza.
tayo doon minsan?
Oo.
Yung plaza na yun.
Sa plaza, di ba? Kasali ang Casa San Pablo lahat doon eh. Tapos, yun nga, yung sabi ni Boots kanina, ano yun? Lalong nakilala yung Casa San Pablo nung pumutok yung bulkan, di ba? Kasi maraming dito nag-wedding, di ba? Pero yun nga sabi mo nagka-pandemic. So ano yung nung makita niyong lumalaki na yung pandemic, Boots, ano yung naging reaction niyo?
Well, first of all, nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, kasi nga, we were excited kasi actually March and then April is supposed to be our peak month. You have the Holy Week, start of the summer, bakasyon ng mga bata. So we're already prepping for that kasi we already got a lot of inquiries. Plus because also of the Taal eruption noong January, a lot of weddings, our wedding bookings more than doubled. Which was, ang vision namin na mangyayari pa yun was 3 years after. But it already happened because of the eruption of Taal. Kasi nga, the number one site, destination wedding site is Tagaytay. It was badly affected because of the Taal. So, maging mas nakita kami as an option. So, ang dami nagpa-reserve, we got a lot of inquiries. So, January and February, we already prepping. As in, we bought equipment, we bought air conditioners, yung ganyan. Kasi we're ready, handa na for summer. And then it happened, no?
Like everybody, we were caught off guard by the lockdown. It happened in March, just as we were ramping up operations kasi talagang for a business like ours, March, April, and May are the peak seasons, and actually what you earn in those 3 months is what sustains you for the rest of the year. We had spent January and February investing so that we can do the ramp up. Kita na namin sa bookings namin, it was gonna be one of our best years. Even for my clay storytellers, it was going to be one of our best years. For weddings, it was going to be one of our best years. lockdown. Nung una, nung akala natin maiksi pa lang yung lockdown, very optimistic pa kami. Sabi namin, sige, let's use the time. Bibigyan natin ng allowance. Priority talaga namin yung staff. Bibigyan pa rin natin ng allowance yung staff. Tapos, let's use the time to do the things na hindi natin nagagawa. Deep
Kasi nga
cleaning, repairs, gardening, para...
Expansion of the kitchen.
Oo.
So,
Construction. Barn,
construction.
di ba? May barn pa.
Oo.
Constructions.
Yung mga hindi namin nagagawa. Sige,
So it
kasi-
gave us the time to work on the expansion. Plus yung mga tao naman parang they have time for their family.
Yes.
Parang yun ang sinabi lang, uy,
And
finally
us,
may
we had time for our
may time
family.
for family na ito malaking bagay na ganun. Kasi the initial forecast was just the announcement was just for 2 weeks. So it was a good break before the big.
Di pa natin alam kung gaano kalaki yung
Yeah.
pandemic nun.
Yeah. So 2 weeks, and then kahit naman nung in-extend to 1 month, it was okay, and we could see it was so beautiful. Parang it was beautiful for us as a family. Even our staff sinasabi, ay salamat, may panahon na kami para sa pamilya namin. And then yun nga, we were able to give naman allowance to them. Pero hindi ko, sabi ko nga kay Boots, malay naman namin na yung ECQ, may ECQ pa, MECQ pa, at saka meron pang GCQ na, I think nobody knew that it would be a whole alphabet of quarantine extensions.
So that particular incident, nung nag-iiba na nga and then humahaba, then it finally dawned on us that this will never be open in a month's time. And basically, we had to already reassess what would be the strategy in a situation like this, that it's open-ended, hindi lang pala matatapos. And yet there's a specific requirement of drawing cash, no? Kasi nga there are certain things that we cannot cut, like security, maintenance of the gardens, skeletal force. So there's a steady outflow of money and yet zero cash in. And open-ended as to kailan ito matatapos. Plus, we had bookings already for March and April for the summer that we had to give, we had to return, we had to refund. What was hard also during that time was even the process of even the banks, the regular things that you thought will never close, sarado. Like banks are not even closed for 5 days a week, no? Pumipila ako for 3 hours just to send salaries to our staff. So my whole day would be like going just to 2 banks for the whole day, na all geared up with a face mask and nakapila sa labas. And sabi ko, this is going to be really bad. Now, aside kasi from the regular, syempre, burden of, syempre, the first priority is making sure that the people are taken care of. So, the first stage of, syempre, giving salaries, and then, naubos na, hindi na kaya, so we even gave the food. Sabi ko, sige, lahat ng pagkain sa casa, i-subdivide sa may kailangan. So, para magamit, kasi wala na nga yung cash to help them out. So, inubos yung pagkain sa casa to give to the staff. Tamang-tama naman. Some friends and some relatives also started giving and helping out in sharing their own money to our staff, which is something, nakita namin, this is something that's God sent. It is something that's somehow confirms that what we were able to establish is really a community. A community between our clients and the people that we serve and our staff. Na yun ang aming pamilya. So nung nakita nila namin may pangangailangan, our friends and relatives also offered giving without any conditions to help support our staff. So that in itself was something that I never expected, or I never even imagine or even prayed for na sana yung mga staff, yung mga relatives ko at saka mga kliyente namin magbigay ng pera. Gagawin mo ba naman yun sa business, di ba?
Tsaka ang namin kasi responsibility namin yun. hindi talaga namin naisip na humingi sa iba, ni hindi kami nagdadasal na sana tulungan kami. Ang ano lang namin,
How to
sana bigyan
figure
kami
out.
ng way na ma-figure
How to
out
figure out
namin
what to do.
kung paano itutuloy yung support.
I think a blessing of the pandemic. Ang sinasabi ko nga kaya, kasi we'd have breakfast together, nice music in the house. Sabi ko, alam mo, this is like a big retreat. A forced retreat for everyone. That we are able to go back to the basics and think. Kasi our life has been so fast and so distracted with many things around that this is just like a retreat for everyone. Even when I walk around, kasi what I would do is I would like walk around our area in San Juan and never experienced the place like that before. Natahimik, walang sasakyan. You know, everything is so peaceful, surreal, and yet alam mo, there's a big problem outside. And somehow, my walking is already a prayer, no? Sinasabi ko kay Ann lagi, I would pray, and my prayer would just be like talking to him and saying him my concerns and just sharing. Hindi ko alam, humbled and but alam ko there's some purpose.
Yun parang walang push against the wall But at the same time, kita namin na ang ganda din ng kapalit na, kapalit is not the word. Pero,
Katumbas.
mas tumindi yung presence, His presence, whether it's in our everyday life, whether it's in the helplessness.
Yeah, kasi nga ang sabi ko nga sa inyo is January, February, so kahit nga nagpumutok yung tao, it's even good for us. Di ba? Parang, then we had a lot of inquiries and a lot of bookings. So parang sabi ko, wow, finally, it's gonna have a big turn. Then suddenly that pandemic happened and everything was gone and even negative, no? So parang, ano tong nangyayari? And it is something that's beyond. Alam ko na it's beyond me. Alam ko na it's beyond my own solutions. It's my own computations. It's no longer about my own computations, but it has to be something that will happen and hope for. I think the word there is the hope. It's a big hope. I have to stop.
Paano nag-operate ulit? Kasi tumigil kayo, di ba? Wala talaga nangyayari.
Tumigil kami, pero yung mga staff namin, sinabi na, ano kaya kung mag-deliver tayo? Subukan lang natin. So, kami ni Boots, since wala na kami ding paghuhugutan, sabi ni Boots, ito lang yung kaya naming amount.
Pero even nung nagsimula, alam ko na it wouldn't work. I mean, I knew, kasi regardless anong computation mo, there's a specific amount na hahabulin mo. So let's say, just with this delivery, it's already 5 figures just to be able to even open that aspect of delivery. Kasi that's not naman our strength. We're not even designed for that business model, no, of delivery. Hindi kami McDo, no? So talagang hindi siya...
Hindi din tayo yung nasa bahay lang na nagluluto ng lasagna.
Oo, na parang walang sweldo yung cook. Di ba? Kasi yung mga...
Nasa kusina na
yung
niya.
nasa kusina lang niya, walang ano yun. Siyempre yung cook namin, kailangan mo sweldo, may assistant yun, may mamamalengke. You're talking about just 3 people. Na if it's like,
may kuryente, may security.
Just example, you have 3 people, na let's say 500, so 1.5. Margin mo 30%, kailangan kumita at least ng 5,000 just for them magluluto. Iba pa yung magde-deliver. That's daily. So, alam ko na, medyo ang layo. Medyo hindi talaga kakayanin. And then mag-Facebook ka pa, mag-a-add ka pa, magaganyan. So, it came out na parang 15,000 a day. Just to have a delivery service, which wouldn't work. Di ba? And in a month, that's already 500,000. Di ba? It's a risk na alam mo hindi mag-work and it would burn you another $500,000 despite the help that you're already giving out. So, and syempre, the security and other things that you have to maintain. So, the challenge is really something different kasi talagang walang pumapasok. Alam mo talaga na hindi naman mababawi.
Siguro kung balikan nga natin nung una, nung sinimula namin yung casa, kahit papano, lagi kaming may backup plan. Laging, kahit siya, risk taker siya, laging may fallback eh. Pero itong pandemic, yung risk hindi namin alam kung how much was being asked of us. Parang got worse and worse. Tapos, walang backup plans. Kaya, talagang...
Sa akin, I was shaken kasi even nga, we started even already drawing out from our personal funds, which is already a different story. And this already undermines the security of education of my son, di ba? Our own operating expense. We had 2 drivers, I had to let go of them. Di ba? We had to cut down our own we had to change our lifestyle. No? And at the same time, okay lang may lifestyle, pero yung risk of even education of my son and all this and our own comfort, eh medyo iba na yun kasi we're already getting for our own kitty. So, yun yung pinaka nakakatakot. Kasi ang sinasabi ko kaya, this is already a different story. And it's something that we cannot I don't have, sa akin, I don't have any answers. I mean, that's the thing that killed me. I don't have any answers. Lagi ako, meron akong alam eh. Kasi aside naman from Casa and aside from the business sa Manila, I was able to trade. And every time when I trade, I can make money. So pag may problema dito, I make money on the side, madadraw ko dito. Ang problema, lahat to zero. Na talagang pinutol. So sabi ko may sinasabi to. It's not just a simple na pandemic, pero may sinasabi to everyone. That we have to really focus on him and that we have to realize that it is him that we exist, that we draw life from. And I think in that kind of acknowledgement that made me realize, sabi ko kaya alam mo, ito yun eh. Ito yung message. And we just have to be humbled, by this. Kasi we've been so big in terms of our own dignities and parang egos. And I guess acknowledgement. It starts with acknowledgement and asking help. That we're like anyone else asking help. From then on, biglang may mga sumasagot na sleepless nights of trying to see what will ano bang mga options, and answers that came from nowhere started
swak lang.
Started coming in. Actually, one of the things that made me think about the situation na talagang above na dun sa aking mga plano was I acquired kasi a loan to purchase a particular land here in Casa to be able to sustain the operations. And that somehow forced a big part of our income to pay that loan on a monthly basis. Eh, ang problema, nung March, I was still able to pay kahit nga, it was open for 2 weeks. April, okay pa. May, okay pa. Pero pagdating na ng June, then it was still continuing to open-ended pa kung kailan matatapos. I knew na hindi ko na ito kakayanin. And we were already somehow getting from our own personal kitty to pay for the loan, which I never imagined would happen. Kasi before, it was purely on the operating of Casa. So I was trying to figure out ways as to kung paano ko ito gagawin. At the same time, alam ko, hindi rin pwede ito itigil. It's a commitment that I cannot even ask, or regardless of the situation, hindi ito pwedeng bigyan ng parang ano
Pwede
muna,
condone yung
condone
loan.
muna or parang postpone wala muna because of situation. It is not something like that. So, kahit paano ko isipin at paano gagawin. Wala rin naman akong assets na mabibenta kasi, kung magbibenta naman at this point, it's really bagsak or ang hirap din kumuha ng bibili. So,
Hindi din tayo makautang sa bangko.
Hindi din makautang sa bangko because banks, the business itself, I tried, no? But the business itself is not risking. Ang sabi sa akin, syempre, why would we risk to a new company who's in the most parang risky area with tourism? So they would rather, syempre, the parents of the bank was more on
Their
their existing clientele na may mga loans, support them kasi pag hindi nakabayad, mas malaki yung risk ng bangko. Which I understood kasi banks are businesses, so dapat ganun mag-desisyon. So tama naman yun. Why would I take it against them? So tumating sa point na ganun na yung problema. As I said nga, even our personal money na, even nga tuition of my son and our own operating, I knew we already tatamaan na. If this was prolonged for a year. So, and hindi ko na alam talaga ang gagawin kung paano ang solusyon. So, my daily walk and daily prayers would always have that kind of concern. I would always bring that up and offer it up. I knew this is beyond me. I knew that this is something that I still have to honor and I still need to pay. I just don't know how and to help me figure it out. And after that prayer, a week of prayer, I was in a trip here and I was able to, because I would come and check on people, check on the structures. On my way back to Manila, biglang I got a call and I got an offer to be given a particular amount to cover for that particular commitment. And hindi ako makapaniwala na suddenly, I didn't ask for that to anyone. Ang may alam lang noon ng problema na yun is Anne. And suddenly, I got that offer. And it was God sent. I mean, yun lang naman yung sinasabihan ko eh. Di ba? So bakit biglang may ganyan? And eksakto siya to cover all the way in the projection of the pandemic. I mean, it covers even all the way up to year end of next year. So sabi ko, by that time naman siguro talaga namang tapos na to. Or, there's a vaccine already. And somehow, Casa would already be up and running. So,
Tsaka diba sinasabi natin, alam namin lagi na galing sa Diyos. Kasi eksakto lang lagi. Hindi kulang. Hindi din sobra. Laging eksakto lang. I think consistent yun sa buhay namin na pagka nagigibit kami, laging merong dumarating na eksakto lang sa pangangailangan. So, tinutulungan kami ng Diyos, pero ayaw din naman ng Diyos na parang na sobra-sobra. Parang that's how we know that it's an answered prayer because it's exactly what we need.
Yeah. And yung pagtulong na yun, syempre may trade-off din naman that I have to give up something for it. No? But it is something that I'm also willing to accept kasi it's already, nasa dulo na eh, di ba? As I said, it already affect our own personal lives. So, it is something that no choice, but then I'm happy. But then I'm happy also kasi that made me also be more settled and focus on the business already, how to run it efficiently again and make it earn.
I think in relation to what you were willing to give up, what we were willing to give up, madalas din namin pag-usapan ni Boots na there are a lot of things that we've had to give up because of the pandemic. our way of life, some comforts. Pero madalas kaming nag-uusap na namamangha kami na nakakatayo pa rin kami. We're still so full of gratitude. Kasi sabi ko, kung siguro naikwento ito na buhay ng ibang tao, maaawa na kami. Parang awang-awa na kami dun sa taong yun. Pero pag ikaw pala yung dumadaan doon, we feel the grace moving through us. So, siguro concrete. Ngayon kami, yun nga, kami tumutulong kami sa aming staff na kami ang nagpupunas ng mga mesa, siya naghuhugas ng plato, ako nagkakahera, na kahit kailan hindi ko akalaing gagawin ko. Kung siguro minsan naiisip ko, baka may mga dadating na sasabihin, nag-aral ka pa sa Ateneo, yan din pala ang gagawin mo. Pero sa amin, lagi kami nagpapasalamat na kaya namin gawin yun. Walang awa na dumadaan sa sarili ng boots.
Yeah.
Puro biyaya yung nararamdaman namin na kaya pala namin gawin. We are made of so much wonder and joy and gratitude that we can even do whatever it takes to keep the dream alive. And I think before we used to say a lot that Casa is our dream, and we invite people to follow our dream, and many people come and tell us, dream namin kayo eh. Gusto namin maging innkeeper din. Gusto namin magbukas din ng lugar ng ganito. Tumatawa kami minsan kasi hindi naman madali. Pero ngayon, I think ang nangyayari sa atin mga boots, hindi na namin dream. Meron ng iba eh. I think it is His will for us to keep going. We can see God's will in the fact that we can continue to serve people, and that people who have been coming to Casa for so many years are coming back and telling us, gusto namin bumalik, miss na namin kayo, is the first place that we come to because natatandaan namin yung hospitality niyo. Ang tingin ko doon talaga is God is telling us, keep going, because that's our will, that's His will for us. So it's not, sabi ko nung pinakamasakit noon, sabi namin, parang we're watching our dream die. Pero I think ngayon, our dream has died, but because it's already His will. And His will is for us to continue in whatever way we can. And to allow Casa to really be a channel of compassion for our staff, compassion for the guests who come. Yung mga staff namin, in the last 8 months, grabe ang pinagdaanan. Kasi skeleton force lang kami. So, kailangan nila gawin lahat ng dati nagagawa ng doble, triple na tao. In a handful of people, they have to be able to do it. Pero ang battle cry nila, gagawin natin to kasi babangon ulit ang Casa at para makabalik yung iba. Kasi hindi lahat nabibigyan ng assignment. Today is a very important day for us kasi meron ng 3 nakabalik. Dahil bumabalik na yung guests at nagtrabaho yung staff namin. And I think that's God. That I'm sure that is grace showing us to keep going because we are a channel of compassion. Sabi ko dun sa 3 dumating today, nandito kayo ngayon dahil sa malasakit ng mga nauna. So dapat tayo din susuklian natin yung malasakit na binigay ng unang grupo.
I think one of the things that this experience also taught me was ever since when I started working way back before, my constant prayer has always been, let me be able to help people. Sa akin was, sana, I would rather, sabi ko, I'm just being honest with you.
Yes.
Sabi ko,
Amen.
ayoko na ako
Yes.
ang aasa ng tulong.
Yes.
Ako na lang ang tutulong. That has always been my constant prayer. And suddenly, itong pandemic made me be on the other end. No? Ako yung tinulungan. And I don't know why. Pero it's God telling me na hindi. Ano ka? Tao ka rin. that you know that you would be needing help. And I think one of the things that we were able to extract from this experience for this past 3 months, actually, when talaga nagbukas na siya, was we spent, ngayon Anne is staying here already, and we spend a lot of time with our staff doon, the skeleton force. And ngayon, ang dami nilang tinuturo sa akin. Ang dami nilang tinuturo in the sense of, I think yung empowerment is a big part. That kung minsan, I would ask for them, sila mag-decide. And they would give me a good decision. And I said, wow, hindi ko naisip yung ganun klaseng decision. And that is because yung pag-ako nila doon sa trabaho nila is already more than I thought that they would be able to commit. And I think that's for me kasi that's the essence of being a leader when you're able to let people go beyond their yung na-imagine mo na ma-accomplish nila. I think that's my gauge of being a good leader. And nakita ko, wow, these people now can run this place. And even their decision points are even, nagugulat ako. Sabi ko, grabe yung decision, ang galing. So, sa akin, yun yung sinasabi ni Anne kanina na it's the grace, no? Working through us to them and making them, empowering them and sila. I'm so happy. Minsan, ito example, let's say, sa banyo, we were trying to, as simple as we're just trying to take out a stain on the wall of a shower na ang tagal-tagal nang hindi matanggal. So we would, kasi nga, may time dito, so we would like try out vinegar, starch, microwave, ganyan, YouTube, research, ganyan. Then I would try with them. We would do it. And finally, kahapon, this yung housekeeper that's in charge. Sir, nakita niyo na yung inyong shower. Sir, natanggal ko. Sabi ko, wow, so proud of you. Na, you know, that sense of accomplishment. Kita ko, wow, niyapos na yung trabaho. That simple aspect na matanggal yung stain. Now, we've been trying to do that for years. Na suddenly, she was able to do it. And there's joy in her that she was able to accomplish that and she wanted to share with me. So sa akin, that's such a gift.
So I think the gift of the pandemic is, one, we're able to see people more clearly.
Yes.
No? We're able to see our staff more clearly, the gift that they are to us.
The two sides of it, syempre, what they can do and what yung hindi nila pwedeng gawin.
We're able to see our guests more clearly.
Yes.
That we have a relationship with them. This is not just a business, but they're coming back because they have a bond with us. And then I think most important is we see God more clearly. We feel Him more closely.
And to seek Him.
And we seek Him more. I cannot say na Boots and I are religious in the sense that we're always praying out loud. But we do know na ngayon, alam namin na kaya kami magkasama. Kasi may mission sa amin ang Diyos. And we feel that. And every day we affirm that to each other. And we affirm it, the simple fact that we're still standing. And that we're still full of joy and energy. And we're still enthusiastic about our business. Means God is with us.
Kaya, punta kayo dito sa Casa San Pablo.
Tama!
Pero,
Punta kayo!
oo, punta. Pero kanina may napaka malinaw na biyaya nung sabi ng mga taong bumabalik-balik sa Casa San Pablo. Hindi ba may ikinasal dito 5 years ago? Kwento mo nga, yung ginawa nila ngayong araw na to.
Oo, nakakatuwa itong araw na ito kasi hindi lang isa, pero dalawang guests namin na dating kinasal dito. So one couple and another couple, both married 5 years ago. The other one celebrating their 5th anniversary here.
Today.
At bumalik sila dala yung kanilang baby. Na dahil hinahanap-hanap nila yung
experience.
Yung experience, yung warmth,
The
yung...
start of their relationship, of their marriage.
So yun na nga, may relationship sa casa.
Tsaka ilan dito yung first time nilang lumabas since the
Yes.
pandemic, dito
Yung
ka
pa,
agad pumunta sa
nakakatuwa
casa.
yung mga guests
Pamilya
namin na
agad.
pagbalik, first risk
Labas.
to go out, dito sila pupunta. So, kung hindi pa nyo na plano yung inyong road trip, punta kayo dito sa casa.
Ayun. Uy, maraming salamat. Ang laki-laking yung biyaya para sa amin din sa Radyo Katipunan.
Walang anuman. Salamat, Rofel.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Thank you.
salamat.
Thank you.
Salamat, binigyan mo kami ng chance na ganito.
Thank you.
Salamat sa Diyos.
Maraming salamat, Ann and Boots. And we end this episode with this.
Ibigin man nating pigilin ang paglubog ng araw. Ang marahang pagkain sa pisngi ng buwan. May mga bagay na di matanto at hindi Ibigin man nating yakapin ang lawak ng dagat at sadyang hulihin ang pagkurap ng tala. May mga bagay na di mahuli at hindi ngunit kahit ako'y lumayo, huwag ka sanang malungkot. Taglay mo pa rin ang aking pag-ibig sa iyo.
fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.